matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. That all changes, starting right here and right now.
Okay, check 1, 2. All right, Patriots, here we go. We are live tonight, coming from the East Coast right now. It's 8:34 p.m. and the State of the Union goes live at 9 p.m. So what we're going to do, you know the drill. We're going to check in, make sure we're all technically working over here. Check out the comments. There's a lot of you on in the comments on Rumble already. If you want to comment, also on YouTube, I can bring those comments up on the screen. So if you're commenting on YouTube, I can do that like there. Jeremiah is in the house. All right. I should probably change that banner color too as we're preparing for the show. I'm going to pose a couple questions for you, and I'll bring those up here in a second. Hope everybody had a great day as we get underway. Does one thing too, real quick, I understand completely, totally understand. Let's go with a red. How about a red? There we go. We'll go to red tonight. I totally understand how a lot of people. Why are people saying? What do you mean Rumble is down? Rumble is not down. Somebody in the comments, Rumble is not down because I am broadcasting live right now and probably in thousands of people's living rooms. So I know a lot of people love to watch me, and I never can get those numbers until after the broadcast, how many people tuned in. But the other night, we went almost 4 hours covering the election results for the primaries on Super Tuesday, and the numbers are really good afterwards. So I really appreciate all of you for tuning in. So we're going to get underway here. If you haven't seen this, here's a little clip. Looks like Hamas pro-Palestine protesters are out there demonstrating and blocking Biden's motorcade from getting in. But this could be passed already, so they might have gotten through. Might. Of course they got through. But here's a little clip of them trying to block the motorcade for Biden.
Us, we do not agree that corporations get to have more rights than us and the people in Gaza. Shame! Shame!
Okay, that's enough of that. So here's what I'm going to do. All right. So let's do this. So I promised everybody that I would do the play-by-play of Donald Trump. So he did this last year. So he's not. There's no confusion. He's not going to be on video. He posts on True Social only, kind of like his take after Biden talks about something. I'll keep putting it up. Here's how I'll do it. I'll take one of Donald Trump's most recent, just about a half an hour ago. And as the broadcast goes on tonight, first of all, we're talking until 9 o'clock once he takes the stage. I will do a couple things. One, I will bring up anything on the screen that I feel I need to, or maybe some of your comments from guys who are on YouTube. All right. But at the bottom, at the on the lower third, at the crawl, here, for example, this is Donald Trump right here. All right. As a matter of fact, you know what I should do? I will put Donald Trump in right. Put it this way: anything at the bottom tonight, everything at the bottom tonight. I won't even put any of my plugs, my pages, my social medias. Everything you see on the bottom tonight, when it comes up, and then I'll bring it down, obviously. And then when the next one comes up, I'm monitoring Donald Trump on True Social. I will put it in the crawl at the bottom. So as Joe Biden is talking, you'll be able to see Donald Trump's words in real time. Okay? I think it's fair enough. I think it's a pretty good deal. All right. Remember, guys, if you're over on Rumble or even on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that follow button on Rumble. It helps out a great deal. Hit that subscribe button also on YouTube, and you'll be notified anytime I go live. You'll never have to ask what time or where I go, because those notifications will always be available to you. And I always have my shows loaded early enough in the day to where all you have to do is go to my page when you know my Rumble and my YouTube page, and you'll see what's going on and what time we go live. All right. And another thing too, what I was going to say a minute ago. Let me check a coverage. Hold on a minute. So I'm going to bring up a feed. I'll tell you what, I've got plenty of networks to choose from. So I'll say what I need to say, but I'm going to grab this feed. I'm going to go with, let's share the screen now. Let's check in on live feed. All right, there we go. Okay. All right. So, and there we go. All right. So right now there's a live feed. I am feeding off of ABC News. Okay. So, and I have all the networks, but it doesn't matter. We're going to listen to their rhetoric. It's just going to drive you mad. What I was going to say, a lot of people, I get it. I totally understand. A lot of people said, I don't want to watch, screw him. I get it. Totally understandable. Okay. It is hard to listen to this guy, but let me say something, at least from my point of view. All right. I think it is our responsibility to watch tonight. This is the last State of the Union. We are basically 8 months away from the next presidential election. I don't have to tell you, you hear it from me all the time, that the clock is ticking. And I know that something big is coming to this country and to this planet. We are not walking into the 2024 election just going to stroll in. That ain't going to happen. Listening tonight, what I'm going to be listening specifically tonight, which is I'm doing multiple things, so it's kind of hard, but the language. Me, I am huge on foreign policy. And right now, what Americans do not know is that our biggest concern right now should be over there with Russia and Ukraine. My stance on that situation. I am against NATO. I am against the Ukraine whole thing, funding Ukraine. You're going to hear it tonight. I already know some things that are coming. You're going to hear a pitch to get that money. We're going to blame MAGA. We're going to blame MAGA extremists. We're going to blame Donald Trump. We're going to blame the Republicans in Congress. It's all our fault tonight. Everything's our fault. So I think by listening to this tonight will give me personally a better idea and an understanding of a timeline of what's to come. You can guarantee that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are listening very attentively tonight. I told a little story. Oh no, I didn't tell it to you guys. I told this behind the screen. I think I did. Anyways, if you remember when Russia started to move their troops and position their troops towards their border by Ukraine, and they kept building up and building up under the form of an exercise. We all knew they were going in, but people did not know the history. And the history, long story short, the history is that NATO had to stop advancing once the Cold War ended, once that wall came down. Everything had to stop. That was it. That was NATO's sole purpose. But the truth be told, NATO's sole purpose is their number one purpose is Russia. Get Russia, destroy Russia. That's why you've been living your entire life with the big bad boogeyman is Russia. And this is simply not true. I mean, look at Tucker Carlson by going over there recently and everything that I post all the time. And that's why I've been shut down on Facebook 41 times now. So I'm on my 42nd account. So that's another story. Censorship is coming, by the way, folks. Buckle up for next month, for April. It's coming. I see the writing on the wall. TikTok's about to be banned. It looks like it's very possible. All right. I'm keeping my eye on that. So there's a lot of things going on, and we're walking into the storm. That's for sure. On many different factors on the social media front, when it comes to censorship, the wars going on, etc. We're literally in World War III right now. But what I was saying is when Russia came to the border, they started coming in, and the defining moment when Putin said, now is the time, go into Ukraine, was a direct result of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris went to Germany. She went to that summit, and for a whole bunch of times in public, not behind closed doors, on camera, in front of the world, she kept saying and urging how important it was for NATO, for Ukraine to become a part of NATO. This is the whole reason that Russia is in there, pushing back, taking back what is theirs, and they're not going to be bullied anymore. And we are basically playing with fire by bullying the greatest nuclear superpower on planet Earth. I can tell you this. I strongly, strongly believe everything that Putin says that comes out of Russia. I understand propaganda. I understand. I can decipher between, strategy and all that. But not so much a threat. He hasn't threatened yet, but he has reiterated that we have nuclear weapons. Don't cross that red line. What happened today? All right. Sweden joined NATO. That was no mistake. And if I'm not mistaken, the timing of Sweden joining NATO will show tonight in the State of the Union. I have no idea what they have up their sleeve. Maybe somebody from Sweden's going to be there. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess right now. We'll find out. We'll find out. Okay. So, all right. Let's go to a couple comments over here. All right. Watching from Louisiana. Hey, guys. Nice. I think I put that up before. Good. Let's go over to, I can't bring up comments on Rumble, but all right. So I'm going to head over to Rumble for a quick second. All right. Looks good. Nice. You guys are watching at home. If you're watching at home on the big screen TV, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. My face will be off of here shortly. I will bounce back in. I will be in a very small box on the side. I will bounce in and out during the Biden's speech. Okay. Again, if you're just joining us, watch the lower third, like I said, and I will bring you everything that Donald Trump says in real time. All right. So if it's in red down at the bottom, that is Donald Trump's words. All right. So right now I'll do a quick check on True Social, and I'll see if there's anything updated on there. The last thing was 42 minutes ago. He just put True Social, the real voice of America. Okay, very good, very good. All right, if you guys, real quick plug, and I won't put it on the bottom. I'm at Real Bruce Snyder on X, or Twitter X over there. Same thing with Real Bruce Snyder over on Telegram. Of course, on Facebook, I don't even have a handle because I get banned so much, so I don't even bother anymore. It's a waste of time. Looks like, oh, what do we got there on the thing? Hold on, let me go. Let's go. Hold on, stand by.
And the President of the United fist pump. Selena, there they are.
Yeah, you see him. He's going over into the motorcade. In just a few minutes, he'll be over in Capitol Hill and in Congress and delivering that speech in that chamber. That is a venue he's very comfortable with, and that could really work to his advantage. But again, he's speaking to a deeply divided Congress, and he could also use this opportunity, of course, to appeal to the American people, but also, again, to urge Congress on a number of issues where he needs their support. Ukraine aid is going to be one of those areas. You have the Prime Minister of Sweden, who's going to be one of the White House guests. They just joined NATO. Sweden did. He's probably going to use it as an opportunity to reaffirm why that alliance is so important and to underline why America needs to continue to support Ukraine. And then there's also the issue of the border. He's probably going to blame again Republicans under the pressure of Donald Trump for tanking that bipartisan border security deal, which had some of the toughest border security measures in decades. But I think earlier, Sarah Isger, she brought up a really interesting point, which is how is the president going to take these very lofty ideals like defending democracy and freedoms and bring it back to the kitchen table and hit home with Americans at home who want to hear about inflation, want to hear about the economy. And we know the president, he's going to be talking about trying to hold big corporations accountable, increasing taxes on big corporations. The president, though, he really needs to focus on setting a vision for what's going to be in the future and not focusing all the speech on what's already happened, what he's already achieved, Terry.
And there he goes, a little wave as he left, and that is his agenda, and it's an ambitious one, no question, Selena, but he also has, as we've all been saying, to demonstrate for the American people that energy, that vigor, that in control, and one of the things we saw as he walked out, which is one of the changes from 2020, time marches on for all of us, excuse me, the president's gait is somewhat different. This is something his doctors have in fact noted that he's had some issues with his feet and he walks a little more stiffly, as we all do as we get older. But that is something that you just can't really avoid, and he will be judged more on what he has to say. But I want to actually go right now to Elizabeth Schulze on what we are seeing. There is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jamie Raskin, Democratic representatives. But I want to ask about the women in white. People will be seeing the women in white, Democratic representatives in white. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Terry, this is the House Democratic Women's Caucus. They're wearing white today to fight for reproductive freedom. And you can see when you're looking at those pictures just how much that stands out. And clearly, this is a message to show that this is a priority for the Democratic Party. They know that this is an issue.
Oh, gosh, enough. We're a few minutes out, obviously. So stand by. Again, let me go over this back to your comments. Cool. Watching you, the TV and my iPad on True. There you go. Now you know how I feel. All right, good stuff. Hey guys, how are you? All right. So again, thank you for tuning in. We'll have fun together here. Enjoy yourself in the chat, especially if you're on Rumble. You guys had a heck of a night the other night and a good time in that chat over there. So keep communicating with everybody. Again, if you're just joining, please hit that like button on Rumble, on YouTube, and hit that follow or subscribe button. All right, we're almost underway here. So, okay. What else? I know many networks, all the networks are carrying it. Right Side Broadcasting's carrying it too. They don't go on till 9, but I just need to keep a feed going. I really don't care who I have at this point. So, just as long as we have a feed. Again, keeping an eye for you on Donald Trump's True Social, and we'll get those up for you on the bottom of your screen. as we're shortly to get underway. Okay, maybe. Maybe. Why am I slow loading here? Okay. Hold on a second. I'm getting a there we go. Well, I got a slow load going on at maybe everybody's jumped over there, but I got a slow load going on at Truth Social. Hey, is anybody while we're doing this? These are the things. This is why we go on early. Can somebody, a couple of you, jump over to Truth Social? Well, actually, I just use my phone. Never mind. Let me see. Let me see something here. I want to make sure because a lot of people are probably jumping over there. Hopefully, they're not having issues. Oh yeah, my phone's doing the same thing. I don't think it's my internet. I got a strong signal. Is anybody having issues over there at True Social? Now, there's issues, and if Trump's True Social's gone down, there's yeah, I can't get it. Let me know in the comments, guys, before we go live here. If you're on Rumble, let me know in the comments too. No issues. Slow. Yes, just shared there. Nothing new on Truth yet. Yeah, I'm getting. I got a slow load. Unless it was just temporary. No, I still got a slow load. Yep. Okay. Everybody's saying it won't load. Won't load. Okay. So here's the situation, guys. Well, some of us are having a real slow load. Okay. I'm definitely doing it, and I have a good setup. Just put it that way. On this side of the screen. Yep, I got a real slow load. Matter of fact, I'm going to take my cell phone off the internet, and I'm sure Trump's not happy about this. Okay. I got no posts. I'm on Donald Trump's page right now, and it says no posts. Let me log out. I can't get on. I have no idea. Maybe Trump will go over to Twitter. Yeah. Okay, Down Detector is showing breaking news. Down Detector is showing True Social is down. Probably depends where you are. Some of you who are getting it right now, do one thing, try and refresh and see what happens then. Okay. All right. No, this is going on. I know many of your names, and you're all over the country here. I'm watching you, the comments on Rumble. Yeah. So True Social is down. There's nothing we can do. Whether it's everybody jumping in or he's victim of a cyber attack because he said he's going to post in real time. So you may be on Truth right now, but try using Truth. Just because you get on it doesn't mean it's working. Go to Donald Trump, go to his site. Because okay, let me try it now. Nope. I'm on Truth too. Don't get me wrong. But you just understand just because you get on it doesn't necessarily mean it's working. So it is not loading. So until it starts loading, it looks like I'm a part of it. So yeah, see, like there we go. Yep. All right, stand by. I want to bring up this audio a little bit.
I mean, Terry, they really couldn't be higher. This could be the biggest audience he gets before the general election.
All right, so
he's really got to prove to the American people that he's got a vision for the next.
Yeah, he may be posting, but everybody it's either one or two things, which is hard for me to believe because everybody jumping over there wants to see what he has to say. That could be part of the situation, or they're under some sort of attack, which is not surprising. Which wouldn't surprise me one bit. So, well, I'm in Ohio, so I have no idea if this is in certain parts or what. But right now in Ohio, I can't get it. And I'll keep an eye on that as we go along through the night. And then if he does come back on, as soon as I'm able to see it, I will check my phone again. And we're about 3 minutes to 9 right now.
Absolutely. No question. He is under the microscope. Jay, you cover Congress.
Okay, so I'm on Truth Social on my phone. I just went to my personal profile on Truth Social, and it's see, it's a slow load. I'm gonna go to Truth. I'm gonna go to Trump's. Yeah, see, that's what I'm getting.
What are they looking at?
That's Truth Social live in real time right now.
Well, he's got a lot of friends in that.
It's loading, but barely. See, there's my account, and it's trying to load my personal Truth Social page. And see how slow it is right now? That's the problem. So hopefully they're working on it. All right. Yeah, I'm on. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Let me go on. I'll bring the volume up as soon as they get underway. We don't have to hear these idiots over there at ABC or wherever I'm broadcasting from. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my True Social page, and all my posts are gone. So that's an indicator that it's down. So some of you are saying it's back up. I don't have it. Until then, I will keep an eye on it, and like I said, I'll post. He did post. Here we go. Somebody says he did post 20 seconds ago, but it was so long I can't quote all of it and send it back to you. Don't worry about that. No, don't worry about that. Just let's listen together tonight. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to Mashed Potato Brains. That's what I call him. Let's listen to Mashed Potato Brains and see what he has to say. Again, I think it's critical. What's so important tonight? He's full of shit. That's the bottom line. He's going to lie. He's going to shift blame on everybody else. This is what they do. They project. They point the finger at everybody else. They never take responsibility for their own actions. We know this. It's no secret. We know what's coming. But I want to hear what he has to say, especially when it comes to foreign policy and talking about Russia and Ukraine. When he talks about Ukraine and NATO, that is the biggest thing for me right now. Even though I understand we have open borders, we have so many problems in America right now. The flow of fentanyl over our borders, people are dying. The economy, can't even afford groceries anymore. I get that, but right now we need the number one thing that, like, when Donald Trump comes back in, the first thing he needs to do, with obviously he's going to build that wall and get that done, but is to sit down and stop these crazy wars and this madness that's happening in the world. Because if that's going on, it doesn't matter what we fix at home here. All right. All right.
ABC News live coverage begins right now.
This is an ABC News special.
All right.
The State of the Union.
We know who we work for. The objective is to get things done.
Tonight, how will President Biden address the key issues facing our nation? The battle.
All right. So I'm gonna pause that right there. All right. Okay, State of the Union. Let's go. I'd like to grab Right Side Broadcastings. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can get RSBN. I'd love to give them the credit. Yeah, they're just not, RSBN's not live yet. Okay. All right. Again. All right. So here, let's bring this up. Trump, apparently, some of you are getting his post. Trump said that he was running so late that he needed Mario Andretti driving him to get him there on time. Funny. And if you guys want to, once you see that lower third coming up, again, I'm going to go back over to Truth and see. Bring up Trump. Here, I can do this for you guys. Here, I'm going to do this. We got a minute here. I'm going to share True Social right now. All right, so there it is. I just put in Trump, and there is absolutely nothing happening right there. So even if I go to my that comes up there. I'll go to that's my personal profile, and there we go. We're just loading and loading and loading. So I don't know if it's an overflow of traffic and the servers couldn't handle it, which is hard for me to believe because I would think by this point they would have that all good to go and fixed and be on top of it. So I'm sure we'll find out. We'll see. All right, let me go back to. All right, let's go here.
There, coming up here in our coverage, of course, he was expelled by the House. So the question you might be asking at home is, what is he doing there? So we'll ask our team right here. We're expecting in these speeches always play an outsized role with the guests they invite for the President's State of the Union. The President tonight will be standing before a deeply divided Congress, speaking to a deeply divided nation, and at the same time well aware that this is also kickstarting his re-election campaign. His every move tonight, his every word, his energy will be closely studied amid questions about his age and whether voters will give him a second term. The president's message tonight will focus on immigration, the southern border, abortion rights, the economy, millions of new jobs, wage growth, the stock market reaching new highs. But the president, this White House, well aware many Americans are still not feeling this. Rachel Scott is in the House chamber tonight.
I can tell you that from my understanding is that Zelensky's wife was invited and turned it down. And Navalny's wife as well apparently was supposed to be there. But I don't know if there's any last minute changes.
Exactly, David. This is going to be a high stakes address.
So they wanted Zelensky's wife and Navalny's wife there as well, which is complete propaganda, if you ask me. If anything, they should have the parents. If it was Trump, you know what would be happening tonight? They'd have the parents tonight of Lincoln Riley there, and he would probably start that off pretty darn early about her murder. And it probably wouldn't have happened under him anyways. We know that. So there's all the cackling hens and everybody else and in white. And the most important thing, we are in World War III, whether you want to believe that or not. We have an open border policy. We have Lord knows what coming into this country and what's here. But abortion rights is the most important thing. We are a backwards country.
Speaker Johnson holding
we are a fallen nation.
And anchors here in Washington today. We can't get into the details. We appreciate
of course,
the fact that they invite
Biden's
us
late.
on the days
Who's the designated survivor? Just in case. I'm just asking.
Speaker Johnson did not mind us sharing.
I know it's not Kiefer Sutherland.
That remain respectful tonight, looking to uphold the great traditions of these
All right.
State of Unions.
He wants civility in the chamber. He wants decorum in the chamber. He has sent that message out.
Let me go back to
Members have received it skeptically. I mean, remember how raucous it was last year?
And in fact, Marjorie Taylor Greene, when pressed on this today, said, well, we'll just wait and see what the president has to say. So we'll be watching that. You saw the image of George Santos there moments ago. I want to bring Rachel back in because, Rachel, the obvious question for people watching, what is he doing there?
Exactly. Many Americans may be remembering that Congressman George Santos was expelled from the House. He's facing 23 counts, accused of everything from credit card fraud to identity theft, lying to federal officials. He was expelled by his own fellow members who called him a disgrace. Well, he decided to show back up today. As a reminder here, former members do have privileges to be on the House floor, and Santos has kept his floor privileges despite being expelled.
I got something
so he
good
is
for
allowed to be inside of the chamber tonight. I am spotting him right now. He is standing in the back here. He's not seated down with his former colleagues in the back by congressional aides where Senate pages are standing.
Looks like we got a good feed here. Hold on, I'm going to switch. Okay, I've got the right side broadcasting tab. They're doing me a great service. They're showing Donald Trump's real play-by-play side by side. So I'm going to stick with right side broadcasting. They're obviously going to cut live as soon as it starts. So I'm going to keep this feed up. All right, I'll keep that feed up, and I'll keep an eye on ABC as well. So I'm watching everything for you guys. I've got it covered. Don't worry. I'm gonna check True Social again real quick. Let's see. All right, I'm starting to get True Social again. All right, so I'll post the last post that I can. Now it's not loading. Yeah, there's a problem over there. Now it decided not to load again. What if Cheryl says, what if he doesn't show and has a crisis of some sort? He's going to show. I don't care if they put a hologram of him up there. They're prepared for him to be there. Great. Hey, Christy, how are you? So there you go. There we go. That's the last post from Donald Trump right there. They're showing. That's great. Right Side Broadcasting is on top of it. Very good. So we'll stick with them. Of course, I want to give them the view as well. It's very important. That's why when you guys are on, I can't stress to you enough how important it is when you follow like someone like a right Side Broadcasting or myself on this live broadcast tonight. Not only does it help, but that thumbs up and the follows and everything else is a big deal. So make sure you hit that like button on Rumble and YouTube, please. All right. All right. So I'm going to keep an eye on things. I don't know when the folks at Right Side Broadcasting are going to jump in, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I will do this. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to ABC. And I promise you that I will bring back up RSBN at the right time. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So keep an eye on that. We'll get you some audio.
It was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for the first address to a joint session of Congress. There, he's likely waving to his wife.
Oh, is Joe going to come on over there and give him a big smooch like
together.
last year?
Martha Raddatz, this is also a House chamber that hasn't always been welcoming. We had that moment last year with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in particular, the Republicans in the House have really halted a couple of key things that the president has tried to accomplish just in recent weeks. Aid to Ukraine looms large. They have halted that, saying you must act on the border first. Then the president encouraged Senate Republicans and Democrats to get that bill in front of them. They prepared a bipartisan border bill, very heavy security. He said he was ready to sign it, and then the House torpedoed it.
They torpedoed it because Donald Trump wanted it torpedoed. He wants this to be an election issue.
I'm
he
getting
believes
some of Donald
this
Trump's
is his issue and that he can dominate on that issue. And we talk about decorum. We obviously see the First Lady coming in there now, David.
Entering the chamber here tonight, Jill Biden, who has taken a more significant role just
that
in
is
recent days,
Donald Trump's
in this campaign.
Words at the bottom of the
She's going to
screen.
be out there fighting for her husband, too.
She absolutely will. She is, of course, his closest, most critical advisor, someone who's behind his race again 100%, and his most important and top surrogate. She is going to be out on the campaign trail heavily, I suspect, in the coming months, David.
Here's the gavel here. Speaker Mike Johnson, his first time in this role. Let's listen.
The president's cabinet.
The president's cabinet now entering the room. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
Good Lord. Lord help us all.
Of course, Secretary Blinken on the world stage and has been for many months now, not only with Israel and Gaza, but with Ukraine as well. And again, a lot of questions, even from within their own party, about the humanitarian crisis inside Gaza. And the president is expected to make major news tonight on Gaza.
Exactly. And what they want to do is set up a
Okay. Right Side Broadcasting is going live.
into Gaza from ships.
I am going to get rid of these idiots at ABC. Let's go over here. Okay. All right. And then there's no commentating on the Right Side Broadcasting. I will do that for you until, of course, he starts. So that's a good thing, actually. And they've got side by side. So this is a beautiful thing. So we're going to keep this up for you tonight. And then I'll get rid of the bottom if I have to. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go between. I'll go between the two here to give you another angle. All right, I'm gonna give you guys the best possible angle, and once he starts, we'll stay on right side broadcasting. All right, I'm back to ABC right now. Didn't we impeach this idiot? Oh, I'm not allowed to say what I want to say. I think I said it in code. And it's very evil of me. I said, "Who's the designated survivor tonight?" Yeah, that's wrong of me to think. I know. But just think. These people were suddenly disappeared tonight. How would things change in the world? Yeah, I know. That's bad of me. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to grab the Fox feed. I have my reasons. It has nothing to do against them. It's because of tonight. I don't want to delay. There's a delay on that. We're just going to stick here. Obviously, they're being seated, and they're going to introduce him in a second, and then we'll go ahead and go live. Again, I go here. I go to that one. Maxine Waters, very nice woman, even though she's constantly saying she wants to beat up or kill people on the opposite side of the aisle. If I ever said that, they would call me an insurrectionist and all hell would break out. He's right. He's right. Thank you to the folks at Right Side Broadcasting for putting up the side-by-side of this. Excellent. Ah, yes. Patriots and media working together. Wonderful. Good collaboration. All right. So we got quite a few of you. We got about 1,000 of you on probably a phone right now. I don't know how many thousands on a TV screen on Rumble watching in the comforts of your home. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Again, it's 9:14 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'll tell you what. I wish I had. Unfortunately, I use a podcast stream, very popular one called StreamYard, and unfortunately, I can't get the Rumble comments like I can do the YouTube comments live on the air. Some of you are vicious in there tonight on Rumble. I'm enjoying it. All right. So, wow, this is crazy. My True Social page just went, it went white. I don't know what's going on. Everything just went white on me. I have no idea. There we go. Okay. I don't know why True Social just did that. And when I say white, it's because I use a dark screen for all my, when I get online. I like the dark screen color. Okay, let's check back with ABC. We'll go back to this. Let's go back to ABC.
In recent days for appointing the justices to the Supreme Court who overturned Roe. And what the president says are the ripple effects already being seen across the country. Of course, the debate in Alabama in recent days, that state's highest court determining that frozen embryos are in fact people. Clinics and hospitals in Alabama almost immediately halting IVF fertility treatments, the procedures right when women and their husbands and families were in the middle of this process. And there has been a move across this country almost immediately, not only in Alabama, but moving forward in several other states to protect women from this discomfort moving forward. And also in that chamber tonight, Rachel Scott, you spoke with a young woman, a mother and wife in Texas, who became the center of a major national story when doctors determined, and let's listen here at the door. We'll get back to you in a moment.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
There you have the moment, Bill McFarland.
Is he going to stay awake?
Arms introducing President Biden with his State of the Union address.
Does he know where to go?
The Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer behind him, escorting him down that center aisle.
All
as he
these
shakes
people,
hands with
they
members
sicken
of
me.
both parties, I should say. And John Carl, we've watched so many of these, but as Mary Bruce mentioned here earlier, this is the kind of moment that fuels this particular president.
This is always a big moment, a big television audience, all the pomp and circumstance. But the truth is, State of the Union addresses are often little noted and long remembered. They don't have a lasting impact. This one, David, tonight, it really feels different. He has a chance to prove to a skeptical country that he has what it takes, that he has the physical fitness, the mental fitness to go head-to-head in a very brutal, long campaign with Donald Trump and to serve another 4, really 5 years as president. So this feels like an incredibly consequential moment, especially also because of how late it is. It's March 7th. It's just after Super Tuesday. Rarely do you see, ever in my lifetime, you've seen a State of the Union address that actually doubles as effectively.
Speaking of, I'd like to do a very special shout out. It is March 7th. It is my late father's birthday. Vietnam veteran. God bless him, Dad. Happy birthday. I miss you. I love you. And I know you're proud of me. I know you are. So just kind of throw down a blessing for me to get through this decrepit old man's speech tonight. The links we go to. All right. Is he ever going to make it there? Does he realize? Come on. The whole world, we're all waiting for him.
The rematch that they are about to have. They don't want to see.
Thanks, guys, for the
Trump yet again.
Marjorie Taylor Greene there.
The birthday wishes to my late father.
Make America Great hat.
Thank him for his service.
We had an idea that Republicans in the House chamber, John, would have pins tonight.
Yep, wearing pins highlighting what they're calling Biden's failed policy at the border. Look, state of the decorum issue. So much has changed. I mean,
These people make me sick.
A dozen of these things, and I fully remember when Barack Obama had a
show me Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want to see our side.
A single member yelled out, "You lie!" And it was this scandal. How could somebody and now it's.
Does he realize that where he's at and what he's doing right now? Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, in the comments. He's already forgotten why he's there. He's asking right now, where's that ice cream?
Now it's become a little more the norm than not.
Right.
Marjorie Taylor Greene talking with the president right now.
Come on, old man. Let's go.
Somebody there tapping the president on the shoulder, Martha Raddatz, and saying, keep moving.
Keep moving, but he certainly wasn't.
Hey, we ain't time for selfies. Let's go.
I think we talked about decorum. I think wearing a Make America Great hat is putting decorum aside right away. But in so many ways,
I have the volume down so you can kind of hear me. You don't need to hear these idiots on ABC.
Because that's what everybody's going to be looking at.
He thinks that's Obama. Good one. Thanks for the comments, guys. I appreciate it. Very kind of you.
He gave a very powerful speech, got good marks for that.
He thinks it's a surprise birthday party for him. You guys are funny. Yeah, he said change his pants twice. I have a side bet going on with somebody tonight. I won't get into that.
Joe Biden, by the way. Most presidents, yes, they take their time walking through the chamber. They shake some hands. He's having full-on conversations. He's snapping selfies. I bet if he could, he would place calls to their mother and father. I mean, and he's.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. This bird brain over at ABC says he's taking selfies. If he could, he'd call their mother and father. Give me a break. Did he call the parents of Lincoln Riley? All right. Did he call? What about the Gold Star families? I think I put a video out earlier about the Gold Star families, and they were on CNN, and he hasn't even reached out to them one time.
Looking at Biden here,
disgusting human being right there. And there are many evil and disgusting human beings in that building tonight. In the words of Julian Assange, if they did pretty much drain the swamp, 98% of everyone in Washington would have to go. 98%. Think about that.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, David. So far.
And if
look
there's
here,
one
the coveted
biblical
seats here are along the aisles. That's where you're seeing
phrase
members
that I
here
could throw
rush
out there
into the aisles to
is
try and greet the president.
the love
But
of all
the
money
United
is the
States,
root of all
notable
evil. You are
on the
looking at the
Republican
roots
side, you saw
right
some of the
there
most conservative,
in that building.
right-wing
These are the
members of
roots
House.
of all
Congressman
evil.
Matt Gaetz, Congressman Tim Burchett, Congresswoman Marjorie
Good
Taylor
Lord,
Greene,
come
trying
on.
to get the president's attention, to shake his hand, possibly deliver a message.
Does he realize? I'm serious. I'm not making a joke anymore. Does he realize where the heck he's at?
Now of 4 more years from Democrats tonight, a very stark reminder at
All
what
right,
the
I'm going to go
president is
a little live.
into this critical election year. What is at stake? This is very much also about making an appeal to the American people in a very critical election year where he will be likely facing off against former President Donald Trump, David.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson there, greeting the Chief Justice,
Here,
John
let's go
Roberts.
here. Okay, I'm going to go to Right Side Broadcasting. There's Donald Trump in real time. Okay, go back to that tab. I'm just, until he gets up there. Until he gets up there.
Ways, Pelosi with health care and with all that President Biden got through Congress in his first 2 years. Mitch McConnell, the longest Senate leader in history, 17 years.
And it was nice to see McConnell and Pelosi engaged with one another, you know, in
I don't
heavy
think
discussion. Yeah,
I'll bring this down.
And by the way, they were together on January 6th.
I don't think I've ever seen someone a president take this much time in all the State of the Unions I've seen over my lifetime.
Start the certification of the president.
And he's taken a heck of a long time.
Not a surprise here, Mary Bruce, that the president is taking his time. He even
They're going to have to dangle. Someone's going to have to dangle an ice cream cone in front of him and lead him to the podium right now.
Here tonight, absolutely. And they think that that is something that will also play to his strengths here as he does deliver what is expected to be a very, very important speech.
Let's listen as Speaker Mike Johnson plays his role.
Okay, we're going to stay now with Right Side Broadcasting Network permanently. Okay, I will keep an eye on Trump's post. It looks like Right Side Broadcasting is going to bring them up as well.
Tony. David Jill. Good evening.
Here we go.
Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans. In January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, "I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
Oh, you're full of shit, too. He's a liar. He's lying to the American
But
people.
Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself.
Here they come. They're coming after our taxpayer money.
That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers in war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall."
What I said.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote.
Why?
A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace.
Not true.
And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year.
What did I tell you?
And just this morning,
what did I tell you?
Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. I'm going to stand up.
They are taking on World War III, ladies and gentlemen. I told you this before the show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Wake up, America.
And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
We will not bow down. I will not bow down.
Oh, this is not good.
In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th. when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy.
Oh, boy.
Many of you are here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office is defending against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child. But the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024. If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news in 1,000 cities and towns. The American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told. So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot. We leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, I inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong. And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers. Creating good-paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage. Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in the family farms, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know, we're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. The folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs in the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is bright. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger. Tonight, I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it. With a law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year. Even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get in Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, and even Moscow probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, it's still a very big deal. Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. But my predecessor, and many in this chamber, want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. They enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady. To pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry. They were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them, as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them. And I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to good paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. When I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise. And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share. Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? No. Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? No. I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that can be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine a future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security or Medicare or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front so there are no surprises. It matters. It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now. And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together, but that's what here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans. Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him. But joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma. The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, their forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes that marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs, like the IBEW work is building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And pattern after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. The year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety, the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record. Take on crimes of domestic violence. I'm ramping up the Federal Enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America. There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it. Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also We will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Down arms could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent citizens in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocent women and children also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin, families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. For the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America's falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. There's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H. And remind us that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will. Let me close with this. Yay! I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II, when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president. In my career, I've been told I was too young. By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are, it's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas. It'll only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Check, check. Okay, well, that's the end of that. Sorry to put you guys through that hell. What a bunch of lies. We all knew it was going to be lies. But I'm not going to stay on here much longer. It's quite late. I get that. I'd like to catch up on my social media. There's a couple things real quick. I'm not going to dissect that entire thing because it was a bunch of BS. We all know that. What's amazing is that I don't know how anybody could vote for this man, how somebody can be so brainwashed in this psychological warfare. It's so brainwashed to believe what this person is saying. He came out swinging, and I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but I will tonight. I said before we started that, remember what happened this morning. Sweden joined NATO, and right from the rip, that's what he talked about. He came out swinging at Russia and also with his tin cup out, begging for Ukraine. Let me turn this down a little bit. And begging basically for money. But all I cared about was listening to his tone, the language when it came to foreign policy. And that was at the very beginning, right off the rip. And yeah, it's kind of comical in a way. I'm sure Putin was laughing. But at the same time, it's extremely dangerous in these times. We're living in very dangerous times right now, believe it or not. We'll see what's going to happen over the coming days. I would love to see I retract that, but I'm interested in seeing a response from Putin. I doubt Putin will come out and say something publicly, but he'll respond in a different way. So with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to get over there and catch up on everything. Appreciate you. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And that's it for tonight. And I will get back on social media and I will talk to you later. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.